Hi everybody, Drew Stegman here, and today I want to talk about silver. And if you've been looking at the price of silver lately, you've seen that the price has been absolutely skyrocketing. Gold and silver are both going way up. And the reason this is happening is because of unprecedented monetary stimulus by the Federal Reserve. Now, I was talking about this when I first started my channel. I made a few videos on it, and this was before they started doing stimulus. But I was talking about why I thought that the interest rates were going to go back down to zero and why we were going to get more stimulus. And I'm not saying that to, say, oh, I'm right and look at me, I predicted this. But I just expected it to happen because the Federal Reserve is really backed into a corner. And anytime there's any kind of economic problems, all they want to do is do more stimulus and lower interest rates. And we saw that during the last financial crisis. That was actually the first real time they did that back in 2008. But if we look at the price of silver, for example, we can see that silver skyrocketed during that time period. It actually did not go up right away though. What happened was it went down first and then it went up after the entire market imploded. But silver and gold far outperformed the stock market during that time period. And so I think we are going to see a similar event. And we're already seeing this happen. Silver is up significantly. We can look at for example, look at this chart of the price of silver. It's at $25 right now, but you can see that it was in the teens early this year. I think it got down to about $12 per ounce, and that was when the market was selling off. And we saw this in 2008 as well. In 2008, the market sold off dramatically, huge stock market sell-off, but pretty much everything sold off. And now the market has rebounded, but silver and gold have been outperforming the market dramatically, with the exception of a few tech stocks like Amazon and Apple. But here's the thing, guys. Silver presents a tremendous opportunity, and I believe that silver will probably go above $100 per ounce. And there's a bunch of reasons. The main reason I just mentioned is because of the unprecedented monetary stimulus by the Federal Reserve. We have talks of new stimulus checks. The Federal Reserve just came out and said that they are going to keep interest rates at zero for a long time. And so this is very bullish for silver and gold. And that's why I believe the bull run is just beginning. So the question is, how can you profit from this? And obviously, you can buy the physical metals. You can buy silver, put it in your house in a safe somewhere. That's one way. And I know a lot of people who do that. I own gold myself. I own silver myself. But here's the thing, guys. When you think about other ways to profit, you can buy the commodity, you can have it in your house, but you can also invest in mining stocks. So, for example, we can look at SIL, the Global X Silver Miners ETF. And this ETF was up big on Thursday. I'm not sure if you were paying attention to the price action, but we saw a huge run. I think this ETF was up like over 10%. And so this invests in a diversified collection of silver mining companies. And so you're getting basically a huge collection of companies in one fund. And so this is one way that you can profit. And the thing about silver mining stocks in particular is that they go up a lot more than the actual price of silver. So although you can buy the physical silver and benefit from the price going up, you're going to benefit a lot more by purchasing silver mining ETFs. And so this is just one example of a way you can profit. Another way is through SILJ. This is the junior silver mining ETF. So that other ETF I just mentioned invests in senior miners primarily. This one invests in junior silver mining ETFs, a lot of development stage companies, but also companies that might be producing silver and gold, but are kind of on the small cap side of things. So this is an ETF as well that you can profit from. As you can see, looking at this chart of SILJ, earlier this year, when we got that huge sell-off in silver and gold, the price came way down. We got down to about $6 in March when that huge stock market sell-off was happening. But look at the rebound. This ETF has more than doubled since then, going from $6 all the way up to, it was at $12 in July, and now we're sitting at about $16 per share, $15.98 to be exact. But here's the thing, guys. As I mentioned, if we get more stimulus, that's going to be bullish for silver and gold. And we're already seeing silver and gold tick up in price because of the expectations of stimulus. And so this, once again, I think these ETFs will benefit tremendously from all of the deficit spending, all of the money printing, everything going on. If you want to profit, you have to position yourself now. But at the end of the day, I think this is going to be a long-term cycle. I don't think this is going away anytime soon. But then again, it's all dependent on the Federal Reserve. What is the Federal Reserve going to do, and how are they going to react to the economy? And I think what they're going to do is just keep on printing money and trying to stimulate things. And the more you debase a currency, whether it's the dollar, whether it's the won, or whether it's the euro, all these nations are devaluing their currencies. The United States in particular, though, has significantly devalued the dollar. Even though the dollar has held up relatively well, if we get additional stimulus, if we get additional money printing, the dollar will sink eventually, because you cannot just keep up huge deficits and just keep printing money like crazy without your currency going down in value. And so I do expect that to happen eventually. I do believe we will get a protracted sell-off in the dollar. When that happens exactly, I don't know. I think we're already starting to see the beginning of that. And I'm not saying the dollar is going to collapse tomorrow, so you should just rush into gold and silver and nothing else. But I do think a weaker dollar, we can look back at history, is beneficial for silver and gold. And typically, when you look back at like the 70s, for example, that was probably the biggest bull market for silver and gold. And that was a highly inflationary period. And the Federal Reserve has come out and said that they want more inflation. They have come out and said that they actually would be okay if inflation goes above 2%, according to the CPI. Some people call it the CPI. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But here's the thing, guys. If the Federal Reserve is trying to pump up inflation, who's to say that we might not have another cycle like we saw in the 1970s, where inflation, I think some years, was like 10 or 15%. So that is extremely bullish for silver and gold. And we can look back, for example, at the price of gold went up to $800 per ounce. I think the price of silver went up to the equivalent of $100 per ounce back then. So huge upside in the mining stocks, huge upside in silver and gold. So I do want to mention this article real quick. It's not just the fact that the Federal Reserve is printing all this money as to why I'm bullish on silver, but we can look at this article, for example. I found this on IREI.com. This article says that demand for silver at record high, expected to rise further 90% by 2035. And so basically it goes on to say that annual global demand for silver amounts to 2,300 tons. By 2035, this is set to rise to 4,300 tons. One of the main drivers of demand is increased requirements from the solar energy industry. And this is going to be a big thing, guys, when we think about solar, but also electric vehicles. Electric vehicles are going to be using a lot of silver. We can think about smartphones, for example. Smartphone demand has skyrocketed all around the world. It's going to continue to skyrocket, and all these tech companies need silver in their as components in their products. So this is going to be a huge driver of demand. So one more thing from this article: more and more investors are putting their money into silver ETFs. Silver assets held in such funds increased by 9,237 tons over the first 3 quarters of 2020, compared with 3,203 tons in the same period last year. The price of silver is currently quoted at $24.30 per troy ounce, an increase of 63.3% since March, when it stood at just $14.88 per troy ounce. The price of physical coins has risen even more sharply. A comparison with other assets underlines this success. The price of crude oil has dipped by 33% since the beginning of the year, while the DAX lost 1.6% in value. So silver outperforming pretty much every asset, with maybe the exception of Bitcoin. We can make another video on that and talk about that if you want. But once again, just another reason to buy silver. Silver is having huge demand from all these different tech companies, from the solar energy industry, which is only beginning to really expand. And this is going to continue to grow in the future significantly. So huge demand for silver, and there is a limited supply. And so you have to keep that in mind, guys. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I just wanted to give my thoughts on why I believe the price of silver is going a lot higher. Once again, all the stimulus, all the easy monetary policy from the Fed, this is very bullish for commodities like gold and silver. Investors want to flock to these commodities in these times because they are concerned about currency debasement. And that is a good concern. I mean, when you have central banks around the world printing money like they are, but also all the demand, as we just mentioned, for silver, And it creates an environment where I would not be surprised at all to see silver above $100 per ounce, maybe even in the next 5 or 10 years. We'll see what happens. But once again, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you are new around here and you want to see more videos just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Drew Stegman, and I'll see you in the next video.